Hi guys, my name is Andrew and thank you for coming back to the channel. If you are here, you are either on my subscriber list. If you are, thank you very much. If you are not, it's probably because you've been searching for this. This is the Carrera Vengeance E-Men's bike. I got it straight from Halfords a few weeks ago and it's now my go-to work, my commute bike. Not using the car, not using the push bike. I've got a nice happy medium in the middle. This bike is great. It is pricey if you are going to Halfords. I think at the time we got it at a bit of a deal, it was just below £900. If you're looking at it right now, it is around that 950, 60 mark. It is on the pricey side. You can get it on finance from Halfords. There is a link to everything down below that you can go look at it for yourself. But is it worth it in 2019? Well, this is what we're going to take a look at. So first of all, I'm going to give you a bit of a tour around the bike itself. What we have here is the 18-inch frame, the snap-on lock tires. We have the motor around here, and what you can see from here is a lot of accessories that I've added to the bike, which we'll go through at the end. Basically, I got them for Halfords. It's for commute. I do have to take a uniform to work, a suit, a few other things, so I don't want to have like a backpack the whole time. I do want to have it in the panniers that you can see here, and we'll be going over those as well. It does have a removable battery, which is in the middle of the frame here. One thing I will say, the actual charger for the bike is not great. It's this really, what I can only describe as pathetic 3-pin plug that's very small, it's very flimsy. If you are not very careful with it, you will break it. So I am very cautious of that every time I charge it. Brings me to the next point. It does last up to 40 miles, but I am under the kind of where that's under eco mode. You've got standard mode and you've got high mode. You will get about 40 miles of assistance under eco mode for sure. But what I like to do, because my distance is only kind of 5 or 6 miles there, 5 or 6 miles back, I like to keep it in high. You're just getting that full assistance the whole time that you're traveling. It is really good. Hills are not a thing. What I was struggling with when I was looking at e-bikes was, especially this one, is a lot of people were saying what it was like after 1,000 miles, but they weren't like, did the battery still last? How long did the battery take to charge? How long did the battery last for? 60 miles, but I couldn't actually get from anyone what the e-bike was giving to you when you were cycling it. You get 40 miles of assistance from the battery. In what way? And I know that kind of may seem a bit redundant, but I was kind of thinking, do I need to pedal for it to work? Does it stop after a certain point? When you get to a certain speed, does it kick in? Does it kick off? These are kind of questions that I couldn't quite find online. So, got the bike, done a few tests, gone in and out of work. Discovered so far that when you're in the high mode, the hills, when you initially set off on your first pedal, you feel the kind of oomph from the battery take off. It's like a takeoff that you get, which is great. The difference of having to push off as well as to take off, especially if you're at lights against cars and things like that, it makes all the difference. Hills, I live on a hill, so after a night shift I do have to cycle up that hill, which is not fun at all. This battery helps with that tremendously. It's effortless. I can stay in the highest gear and I can just glide up the hill. That makes a huge difference. A massive win for my taking. I did have the push bike version of this where it didn't have the battery. It was just the frame, just the bike, just a regular old bike. The weight difference between the two is massive. The frame on this is bigger. It's to fit cables running through it to accommodate the battery and a few other bits, especially the motor at the back there as well. There is a noticeable weight difference, but that being said, it does do what it's supposed to do. The push bike coming up the hill at the end here is horrible. Almost undoable when you get to the very end. You're right up into the lowest gear, the highest gear. You're really going for it and you're just making it no more. This is the exact opposite. You're in the lowest gear, you can just go and it will take you there. You will feel there's not a lot of pressure. There's not a lot of force coming back on you when you're cycling, and that just makes it effortless going up the hill. So that's what it feels like. It's basically just no pushback. There's no straining, there's no humping and holding. It's just flowing, which is the whole idea of the electric bike. You do have to pedal for it to be active, which makes sense. It's not a case of turn it on and you get like a mini moped type scenario. You do have to pedal for it to be active, which is good because you're still getting somewhat of the exercise as well. Nowhere near as much as you were getting before for sure, but you're definitely getting some of the exercise. Having the meter, the wee gauge meter, which you see on the handlebars here, that has just the functions on it where it's, again, like I was saying, high, standard and low. It'll also give you your speed. What I've discovered is unless you are not pedaling and going downhill, it does kind of limit you to the 16, 17 kilometer an hour speed limit, which if you're just cruising to work is absolutely fine. I can get to work in, it's just over 5.5 miles, just under 6 miles. I can get there just over 20 minutes. It's a delight. I'm not sweaty, I'm not exhausted, I'm not looking forward to the ride home, if that makes sense. I'm thinking about it and it's like, oh yeah, that'll be easy in the morning. That's the difference. That's what this bike is for. I've seen a lot of videos of people going through mountains, like the forest. Cool, that's your thing, fantastic. This for a commute bike is perfect. There's a lot of people in, I think it's the Bronsons or the Bromptons, whatever they're called. No, this hands down beats them for sure. Again, you add the panniers on. You do have to get, what I have discovered when I first went to Halfords, I just got a regular pannier because it did say fit all bikes. What I didn't realize is because this bike has the disc brakes at the back, then it's a special, and plus obviously the large motor, you do have to get the wide disc brake pannier attachment. So luckily it was the same price and the guy just swapped it over. It was no problem. Again, Halfords were really good at kind of passing on information and things like that. So that was awesome. So when I say this bike is worth buying in 2019, yes, 100%. Anytime, really. Until they come out with a bike where you can sit on road legal and it just takes you there. Like a moped, then this is, as good. You can get the more expensive ones, they go up to like £1,200, £1,400. I think they've got a bigger range, but again, if you are just doing a commute, this does wonders. This does all the things you need to do. It does, on high mode, I think you're probably going to get about, because I've done 2 trips back and forth, so that's about 12 miles, so 24 miles. On high mode, you're going to get about 20 miles of assistance, at least, which is great. I haven't gone any long distances with it yet. I will be testing that out. I want to kind of go from Glasgow to Weems Bay at some point and see how that lasts. That's about 30 miles, so we're going to be, it's going to be hit or miss. But that'll be a test for then. The ride quality is really good. You get the suspension on the front, it's really comfy. The saddle you get used to like every other bike, and really comfy. You're saving a ton as well. The charge time on it from 0 to full is about 6 hours. But I only use about maybe 40% of it between each trip. So I just come home, plug it into the wall, and within about an hour or so it's fully charged again if I need to run out and do any other errands, which is really good. I do a lot of camera work using this equipment here. That's what the panniers are really good for. I can pan everything in the back. I can put along tripods along the actual pannier rack, and I can put any more sensitive stuff, wallets and things like that, in the small bag at the front as well. I'll go through the actual list of accessories that we have, and that starts with phone holder on the rack. Then the second one will be the tool bag, which is just under the saddle. It's just got essential screwdrivers, nuts, things like that. Next thing would be the front pouch bag. It was on a clearance, I think, but I think they still sell it, so I'll put a link to that as well down below if you're interested in it. And then after that, you've got the panniers itself. You've got the back left and the back right. Both doesn't affect the cycle whatsoever. I've had it full of stuff, snack sweets, water, camera equipment, lenses, tons of stuff all padded in, and it hasn't affected the ride whatsoever. I've got quite wide thighs and like big feet, and at no point did I clip the back at all when I was cycling, so that made life really easy as well. Again, it's these little, I know these might seem little things that you're just like, who cares? But these are the things I was looking for. Before you make a big purchase, you want to make sure there's no little things that do nag at you that just makes it that little bit disappointing when you buy it. I can't say I really came across anything that's majorly disappointing so far. So one of the only thing that really lets this is a 5-star bike, 100%. What makes it a 4-star bike and not a 5-star bike is the charge port. The cable is so footery to get it in. It's a pain in the ass to adjust. When you put it in, you see the only way you know is when the lights go up. There's none of that feeling of insertion. There's nothing like that. It's a tiny little 3-prong thing, and it's not satisfying at all. Even if they made it like a big one, like even like a big 3-prong thing or something else, that would be great. But no, we're stuck with this for the moment. It might get better in the future. I'm kind of hoping so. Other than that, and there's no issues with it so far, it's just I can foresee it breaking or snapping, or me falling over while putting it in, or just tripping and just breaking it, and it's too flimsy for a bike that's just a road bike, it's a mountain bike, it's an outdoor thing. It's far too flimsy. But said all of that, it's a great bike. It's under £1,000. You can get it from Halfords in the UK. Usually most of them have it in stock. I ordered mine and got mine the next day because they had to build the thing. The Carrera Vengeance e-bike 2019, is it worth it? Yes, 100%. I would highly recommend it. I'll send you a link. You can read all of the information from Carrera and Halfords down below. You can look at other people's reviews, see how they found it. A lot of people didn't like the distance in the battery, or they didn't feel like it made any difference to the ride. As someone who's of a larger figure, I can heavily notice the difference and appreciate the difference massively. Before, it was an absolute struggle to cycle to work, and then the cycle back after work would just be I couldn't see it far enough. Plenty of times I've just left the bike there, got a taxi in, got a taxi back home, cycled the bike back the next day. Now every time I go to work, I cycle there, I cycle back, and I enjoy it. It's good. I can focus on actually enjoying the surroundings that I'm in, and it's not too bad, really. If you do like the video, fantastic. Let me know. If you don't, I'm sure you'll let me know. My name is Andrew. Thank you for watching. There will be more videos coming up soon. There has been a bit of a gap recently. That's just because we're kind of figuring on what videos to make, and stuff like this will be hopefully part of that, and hopefully not suck. I'm Andrew. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.